I remember when I was a kid going to Blockbuster, perusing through the VHS tapes looking for what I was going to beg my mom to let me watch over the weekend. For those of you who don't know what a VHS tape is,
I feel like I have seen this before.
VHS tapes, or video home system tapes, were a consumer level of media distribution introduced in the 1970s.
I bought a great VCR at Walmart. Now I need some good tape.
While having a few competitors over the years, VHS tapes were the most popular form of video distribution until the early 2000s when DVD rentals and purchases surpassed VHS for the first time.
And this is what happens when you watch DVD.
My family's VHS tapes were eventually phased out by DVDs. The perfect media format unless you were like me and you left them out and they got scratched and your mom would get really upset with you. I eventually garnered a small collection of DVDs as I got older, of TV shows and movies that I loved to watch. However, all of this changed when I received my first iPod when I was 15.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it.
With my iPod came a fresh installation of the greatest program ever created, iTunes, Apple's digital distribution platform, where the user could buy music, movies, and TV shows. This began my descent into digital distribution, and eventually, in my opinion, this also led to the death of physical media. iTunes was one of the few pieces of Apple software that was available on Windows computers as well as their Macintosh.
Today we are announcing that the second generation iTunes doesn't just run on the Mac, but it runs on Windows too. Exactly the same thing.
It was the only way to access Apple's iTunes store. It was also the only way to sync iPods with the user's music library. iTunes was discontinued by Apple in 2019. However, iTunes brought to the mainstream the idea of paying money for something the consumer could not physically hold. One could even argue that iTunes eventually led to the idea of on-demand movie rental services, where cable subscribers could charge their customer money to digitally rent movies. Digital distribution eventually moved on from just music, movies, and TV shows. It eventually added books, video games, and even how we consume our news is all done digitally now. Since the dawn of the printing press, one of the biggest hurdles in media is how do you distribute it to as many people as possible. Digital media distribution is the most accessible form of distribution possible, and it shows. It is estimated that more than $200 billion will be spent on digital platforms in 2020, and in 2018 only around $2 billion were spent by consumers on physical DVD and Blu-ray sales. Even the upcoming generation of video game consoles from Microsoft and Sony offer digital-only versions of the consoles for a cheaper price, potentially killing off physical game sales. Digital distribution is not perfect. It is usually more expensive, especially when it comes to older media. Digital distribution is completely changing the way our industries work, and the scariest idea is that since digital goods are not physical, they can disappear. But to many, this may seem like a fair trade-off for the ease digital distribution can provide. Digital media distribution has killed off the need for physical media.
Hey, check this out. The biggest video of the year is here now. Have plenty of copies on hand because Live's TV ad campaign will have every renter awaiting street date. Get set for the biggest and most exciting event in the history of video. On behalf of Arnold, Linda, myself, and the entire Terminator 2 cast and crew, welcome to our team. We'll see you on video.
The biggest movie of the year will be the biggest video ever.